The purpose of tefillah is to let the world know that there's a God, which is the overall mission of all of us as a people. And the purpose of tefillah on a more individual level is to be connected directly and intimately with Hashem. Would anybody, I'm going to ask a question, if anybody would like to answer, please raise your hand. Well, I'll ask would anybody like to tell us? You didn't even have a question.
I'd like to do it for a moment.
Yeah.
And ask a question before you ask.
Please.
Can you, for some of us, define tefillah? Like one attitude could be you take the Tzibur and we just go through the prayers, one after another, page after page. I think a lot of us here don't relate at all to the written word. And yes, if you go through the mode, or we call it, help me, the physical, the motions, goes through the motions, but there's no association, there's no feeling. And how do you do it? If you're down, if you're in pain, how do you go through it? To me, it seems so far removed from it.
Okay.
So that would be a question I would like people to ask.
Okay. We'll throw my question out. Then ask a question. What's your name? Raphael. Was that a question or an answer?
Rabbi.
Please.
Rabbi, just on the subject.
When I daven, I'm so close to Hashem that I can't daven for myself. I can only use my prayers for others. And it's like my whole world falls apart if I daven for myself.
Okay.
That's like kid 61.
Okay. What's your name?
Shannon.
Okay, let me answer Shannon's question first, because I think the answer will be shorter. Right? You owe it to us to daven for yourself. Because, I'm sure you've been on a plane, right? And they think, the whole thing with the oxygen mask, right? If you come down, first take care of yourself, then take care of the child or anybody you're taking care of on the flight. Why? Because if you're choking for oxygen, you won't be able to help the next person, you'll both, who knows what, right? But if you take care of yourself first, you'll have much more koyach, you'll have the wherewithal and the resources to do even more, right? So you owe it to us. If you don't want to do it for yourself, then do it for us, right? And for those who are close to you. Right? Now, as far as Mephoy's question is, davening is the hardest thing in the world to do. Daven with kavanah, with feeling, with paying attention, is extremely hard. It's much easier to learn 1,000 pages of Gemara, right? And there are all sorts of reasons for that. The question is, but davening is still a big part of a daily life of a Jew, right? And how do we deal? How do we make it meaningful? Right? Okay. So part one of the answer is, and I want to talk about it, but I don't want to talk about it necessarily right now, this part of the evening, maybe a little later. Part one is that Rabbi Nachman recommended, and it's a universal recommendation, that he said every Jew should do the following practice every day. A practice that he termed Hitbodedut. Right? Hitbodedut for the Ashkenazim and Hitbodedut for the Sfardim. Right? I'm going to outline it. Hitbodedut is scheduling some time every day for you to be alone and talk to God in your own words about whatever you want. You can thank Him for all the good things you had in life from the day you were born until now, for saving you from whatever He saved you. You can ask Him for whatever it is you think you need. Right? You can ask for other people. You can daven. You can ask for the Jewish people. You can ask for mankind. Right? Whatever it is, right? You don't have to ask for anything. You tell Hashem whatever you like, including, and maybe sometimes especially, fetching and challenging. Right? We're not stone. We're feeling human beings, and we have things to say. Right? When I said before that prayer is an all-purpose tool of those who want to better the world, it's not because we're saying, Hashem, you take care of it. It's because we are interacting and we are partnering with Hashem to improve the world. Rabbi Nachman teaches, the Gemara in Sanhedrin says that every individual has to say, Bishvili Nivra ha'olam. The world was created for my sake. That doesn't mean that all of you are here to answer my every whim. Right? That's not at all what it means. What it means is each and every one of us interacts with the world in whatever capacity, as friends, as family members, as workers, as employers, whatever it is. And we have to keep our eyes open as to what the world needs and how it has to improve. We have to be proactive and do what we can, and where we can't do, we have to say, Hashem, the world needs to be better, so-and-so needs to be healed, crime has to stop, there shouldn't be any wars, there shouldn't be any illness, whatever it is. That's the kind of tefillah I'm talking about. As for the formal tefillahs, the Rebbe said, and the Rebbe said, I'll talk a lot about tefillah, but the Rebbe said like this, that no one davens with kavanah, with attention and intention for the entire tefillah. We don't have the capacity for that. What a person should do is to focus, okay, this week I'm going to say Adon Olam with kavanah. And the rest of it I'll just say. But this week Adon Olam is too much for you? The first half of Adon Olam. Next week the second half.
But why not just say Adon Olam?
Oh, okay. Why not just Adon Olam? Because besides what our own personal feeling of all these things, right? The very fact that we say the word, right, knowing that we should be paying more attention, and we believe what's said in these tefillot, in the brachot, in the ashrei, etc., right? At least the words are there. The way the Kotzker Rebbe put it like this, in the morning when we say the bracha of Emes V'Yatif, right? So the ashrei sheyosim dvarecha al liboy. Fortunate is the person who puts your words, Hashem, on his heart. So the Kotzker Rebbe, who was somewhat after Rabbi Nachman, says, why did it say to put the words on your heart? Because the heart is probably closed. Place the words on your heart. Maybe one day your heart will open and all those words will enter. And that's why they're there. Plus all the things that Andy said, all the mystical stuff, the very fact that a Jew is saying the brachas and that with a certain modicum, at least a little bit of emunah, makes the words powerful. It's not the best, but this is all we can do. Right? I haven't actually seen it, but I heard there's some sort of, I don't know what the proper term, and if I'm not politically correct, forgive me, but there's some sort of Olympics for special people or handicapped people of that sort. Right? We're davening special people.